Hey guys, welcome back to 5,000 Miles, where we do reactions and reviews. My name is John. I'm over in Philadelphia.
And I'm Vince, and I'm 5,000 miles away on Maui.
And we are here today to discuss the ending of Stranger Things. And I have been a fan for 9 full years. Vince, this shirt is 9 years old. This is a season
Wow.
one shirt. Big fan. And yeah, so we're here to discuss whether or not they stuck the landing. This is a big
Yeah.
deal, a big show. It's rare that a show gets to this point in terms of like shared cultural experience where everyone's paying attention. So I think it's a question
Yep.
worth asking, Vince.
Yeah, and we're certainly not jumping on the bandwagon here.
No.
We have both been watching the show the entire time, and now that it's all wrapped up, I think it's worth examining because you and I have both fallen victim. I still have PTSD over the Game of Thrones
Dexter.
ending and Dexter and shows like that. And this show, as the final season was unveiling itself over the course of a month or so, it
Yeah.
was getting a lot of criticism.
It was
It
getting
was
some,
getting a
yeah.
lot of criticism, and some people were trashing it. Some people were saying that it was going to go the same way as Game of Thrones. And so let's take a look at the final season and see if any of that criticism is actually warranted.
I'll tell you what, Vince. I think they did a good job. I ultimately liked it. Like I'm gonna levy some criticism here and there, but I was happy with
Yeah.
how it ended. Ultimately, I
And
was happy.
I can honestly say that I would be the first one to criticize if they didn't do it,
Oh, for sure.
because I have no trouble bashing shows that I
If I
once
must.
loved,
If I must.
but yeah, if it's warranted. But I will say that I do also think that they stuck the landing. So let's start out by talking about a couple hurdles that the final season had to overcome. First
Yeah.
of all, okay.
Yeah.
One is that season four was a really intense season. It was very climactic, and I feel like they could have easily ended the show with season four. Like they could have tweaked season four a little bit and just ended the entire show on
Right.
season four. Did you feel like season five was warranted?
Not at the time. I remember when season four ended, being like, "Yo, the plot has gotten so big, it's so intense. They've painted themselves into this corner now that they want to do a season five. That it's like, man, you got a lot to ramp this thing all back up." When season four ended, I wanted it to be over then, and I sure as hell didn't want to have to wait 3+ years to get to the ending either. So
And I
between those
think
two
that
things, I was a
was
little butthurt at the time about it.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that I think that was the other major hurdle that they had to overcome because
The gap, the
I'm
time
all
gap.
for the time gap
Yeah.
because I'm all for any time uh an artist, anybody that's making any type of art wants to take their time and make a really good quality product instead of rushing it. I'm 100% behind that.
Yeah.
Look how long it took Team Cherry to make Silk Song, for instance, right? And it was worth it.
Yeah, it
The
took seven
only
and a half years
time
for Tears of the Kingdom to come out as well, and it was worth it. It was worth it.
the only time that is not a good idea or maybe not the best course of action is when you're doing a show that involves rapidly aging child stars.
Children,
And
right?
and so I mean like we really had to deal with them. The events of season 5 are supposed to take place right after the events of season 4, and yet everybody looks noticeably older.
Yeah, I was able to overlook that. Um, I was, but
I
it
mean,
was
I
apparent.
mean, if you're watching a show like this, you're gonna have to suspend disbelief,
Yeah, it
But
wasn't hard with
it
Better Call
seems
Saul to watch like a dude who's 10 years older and he's supposed to be 10 years younger. It's like you just let it go.
right. I'm willing to make some concessions for a show like that. That's really good. Another part of that issue is also going to be the fact that um, people have short attention spans and people have a hard time caring about something that hasn't been in their lives for 3.5 years.
Like
And
re-engaging.
so re-engaging,
Yeah,
because it's really hard to jump right back into a show when the first season was 9 years ago,
yeah, and
nine plus years
it's a
ago,
big plot with a
and
ton of characters and a lot to know.
the most recent season was 3.5 years ago, and I mean, a lot of people found trouble jumping back into the show. But I feel like Netflix kind of knew that no matter what, people were going to watch it, and it did end up becoming, one of Netflix's most watched seasons of a television show. So I guess they knew that they had everybody on the hook. It was just hard to get back into it.
Yeah,
after
well,
waiting
it's
so
like
long.
thank God for recap videos kind of thing.
Yeah,
because I watched
exactly.
probably two different channels to be like, hey, I'll get some details from here, I'll get some details from there, and then after, a couple of 20-minute videos, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Fire this damn episode up. I'm back. Let's go.
Yeah, I think everybody out there definitely needed some recap videos.
Yeah, get me back.
Now,
Find the shirt in my drawer somewhere. Where's this shirt at?
dust off the Stranger Things shirt.
Mhm.
So after episode 7 came out, that I believe is where a lot of the criticism for the final season was coming from,
Yeah.
because there was some events that happened that was a little bit controversial, and there was a lot of people that were not happy about it. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
I guess my take on it was that I felt like the whole reveal that
What-
Will was gay and the way they went about all that was a cause for some, bullshit amongst the internet community. And I felt like they spent a little too much time doing it. I felt like that the actual scene itself was a tad overly dramatic, a little bit cheesy, this and that.
It did feel a little melodramatic.
I mean,
and I don't throw this word around lightly, but a little corny.
it was a little corny. But my thing was that because they folded it into the plot and Will had to rid himself of inner demons and inner secrets in order to face Vecna, the fact that they gave it a plot point, and I guess as writers, they really wanted to have this big reveal, almost, I don't know, Ellen DeGeneres type moment with this major character. They wanted to do that for some reason. So go right ahead. Move on. Did it screw up the rest of the show? No.
No.
Did it make
No, it did
sense
not.
because he had to clear his mind to face Vecna? Yes. So for those reasons, I defend.
guess.
I mean, I guess, right? But for
Right,
those
and
reasons,
so-
I defend it because I want to give no power or credence to those people, those anti or the anti DEI type people that are going to get worked up about a character having that kind of reveal in a critical moment in a huge show. It's like
Yeah, so
it's like I don't want
anytime
them
we
to have a
see
point.
anytime we see a show where something like this happens, where a character comes out as gay or there's like a black main character or something like that, you're going to get a lot of blowback from the internet crowd. Like you said, the people who are homophobes, the people who are anti-DEI.
It's like, go away, dude.
And so I was kind of disappointed that the show gave a lot of fuel to those types of people
Yeah,
that
just
would,
gave them a crack to cut through and start running their mouths.
and the fact that it was handled, the scene and the plot point was handled in a way that I would describe as ham-fisted. It made, there was a lot of fans of Stranger Things that are like, now I have to go defend this scene, even though I personally didn't think it was that great.
Yeah,
So
right.
I think a lot of people were forced to reluctantly defend that scene when,
And I will
I think-
reluctantly defend it.
yeah.
That's
But
where it's at.
other than that, and then like if you go look at the IMDb ratings, I believe that is one of the lowest rated episodes of season
Of the entire
5.
show. Of the entire show.
of
not
the
just
entire
season
show, only because so many people went to the internet and trashed that
Zeros.
one particular episode. Other than that, then the last episode was fantastic.
The last episode was great. They've created this
And-
world, man. You've got Springfield, and you've got South Park, and you've got Westeros, and you've got Hogwarts, and you've got Hawkins, dude. Hawkins is a
And
thing.
you do have Hawkins.
Hawkins is a fucking thing, man.
I thought that was a really cool final episode. I just want to give a shout out to the title of the final episode too, because titles are important.
Is it Right Side
Breaking
Up?
Bad had a really great title for their finale, which was Felina, which is
Yeah.
an anagram of finale.
Yeah.
And naming it The Right Side Up felt really great because it's a play on the upside down. It's the idea, it's the opposite of the upside down. Like the upside down is gone and now we have the right side up. And also it conjures this idea of everything is finally back to normal. We're right side up again for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, so like ultimately this is a nerd culture show and an ensemble character based plot. And so I felt like no matter how serious the show got and how kind of dark and scary and big it got, because at one point we're in Russia, the government's involved. It starts to become real lifey. It's not just Dungeons and Dragons-y anymore. It becomes real life. So no matter how big and scary and serious the plot got, it's always this nerd culture character show. And so it was, I think and they never did get far enough away from that. They stayed true to that in the end. And I appreciated that for sure.
And that just, what a great final scene where they bring it all back to the Dungeons and Dragons game, where they kind of retell the ending of the story by them finishing their campaign that Mike is DMing. And it was
great too. He did such a good job.
They get to finish this campaign, and then he also kind of tells this little bits of a story about
who they are.
Eleven's true ending. Let's talk about Eleven's ending. Yeah. How did you feel about the ambiguity of her ending? Because I would have liked to have either seen a happy ending or a sad ending.
Yeah, kill her or don't.
But not an ambiguous ending.
I will tell you why I was okay with it. Because my take on it is she's dead. Okay? She died. But
you think that she's staying alive in their memory?
Yeah, I think that the show just didn't want to, because they're children. They didn't have the guts to be like, she's fucking dead, dude. That's it. She died. So what they wanted to do was go like, all right, we're going to kill her as far as the show goes. But then we're just going to, for any character that's real or any fan that's really upset about Eleven dying, we're just going to give them this like, hey, but because she has this supernatural kind of a superhero-ish aspect to her character, hey, maybe she does live on another plane of existence. For anybody that needs to believe that, we'll give you an avenue to believe it. And for those of you who are okay with her death because it's the right thing to do for the show, we killed her.
Yeah, or maybe like okay. in their reality, inside Stranger Things, in their reality she died, but in their story she didn't die.
Right, and so yeah,
because I mean, like, imagine if in reality, imagine if she didn't actually die and she did live on.
Yeah.
In the reality of Stranger Things, that would be a dick move to like never come back and see Hopper again, or or like come back to Hawkins ever again. Yeah. Like just to stay away forever. That's kind of a shitty ending for everybody.
So I think she was dead, and it's the one thing that I was talking to my sister before I watched the final episode, talking about what's going to happen. I was like, dude, one thing that's happening for sure is Eleven's going to die. It just, if the blood thing's real, she's got to die. Yeah. This is Terminator 2. We didn't want Arnold Schwarzenegger to have to get fucking lowered into the steel and do the thumbs up thing. We wanted to let him live. Yeah. But this was that. This was she has to die for the bloodline to die. So she's definitely gonna freaking die. It's what makes sense.
Right.
And hopefully she does it in a very heroic, dramatic, satisfying way. And having her stand there, and then she did. So all good. I liked Eleven's ending. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Give it a thumbs up. Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Just like Arnold, right? So like here's another thing. The reveal that the Upside Down was actually a wormhole between these two worlds that the Mind Flayer is trying to crash. I thought it was cool as shit. It was like,
I thought that was really cool. So there's like a Dimension X. There's a Dimension X, and then the Upside Down was actually this bridge, this weird wormhole dimension. I thought that was really cool.
Really cool.
And so that was a nice piece of lore that they saved for season 5. One other small criticism I think would be, I didn't like the fact that there was a lot of manufactured drama between a lot of the main characters, like between Dustin and the rest of the gang. I felt like at this point, there's so much going on and the stakes are so high, they shouldn't be squabbling. And also, like, Dustin, he did poke the bear a little bit, but, like, he got the shit kicked out of him by those jocks, and they all took, like, the jocks' side, and they pretty much victim blamed him for getting the shit kicked out of him because he was trying to, like, keep alive the the memory of his friend who died by wearing the Hellfire Club shirt. I just feel like they should have gotten over that squabbling sooner in the season.
By the time Steve and Dustin resolved the issues that they were having, I was so ready for it. I was like, okay, enough. I love both of you guys. Stop with the bullshit. Same thing with when Steve and Jonathan finally had their conversation about Nancy, and we realized that neither one of them's going to get the girl, and they both explained their standpoint on it. I was so ready for that fucking conversation to happen. Now, I agree that there was a little too much of it.
I just wish that yeah, exactly.
There was too much of it, but
that shouldn't have been like a
long.
major arc of the entire season. I just would have liked to get some of that out of the way, and I would have liked to see the jocks, those bullies, get eaten by a Demogorgon. Would have been nice for. I mean, like the bullies never show up again. We never revisit them.
Right.
They never get any sort of comeuppance. I would have liked to have seen them getting eaten by a Demogorgon. That's all I'm saying.
That would have been nice. But I guess ultimately the best revenge is living well. Dustin is the valedictorian. They freed Vecna. They defeated the Mind Flayer. The couples that needed to get together got together. Hopper and get married. Max and Lucas get together, which is great. So, they win.
Another thing I really liked about the ending was, did the ending to you, did it remind you of The Wire?
It was very full circle. We get to see that, hey, look at the younger generation. They're going to do their own version of that. And these guys are growing up and moving on. Really cool.
Like the cast of characters that we spent all that time with have now grown up and graduated, literally and figuratively. And now their place is being taken by the next crop of kids, which I thought was really cool. And it's going to be
different, but the cycle starts over. Because it's all worth it, because of all the friendships and shared experiences and amazing, triumphant experiences they had by getting involved in something like that and loving each other and being in each other's lives the way they were. That's the way to live your freaking life. So to see those kids,
to say,
it's great.
I can't wait for season 6 in 5 years.
5 years? No, they are doing a spinoff, aren't they?
They're doing a spinoff, but I believe it's going to be a prequel, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks to the Duffer Brothers, thanks to the whole cast of amazing people for dedicating a decade of their freaking lives to creating something that was special, cool, and unique.
Even though I did criticize the fact that they took a lot of time.
Yeah.
It was on the page.
It showed.
It did. They put out a very high quality season. So the money was on the screen.
It really was.
And the time and effort it all showed on the screen.
But
so
it had to have been it had to have been so hard logistically to pull all this off with all those moving parts.
And you had to SAG after the strike in between as well. So I mean that slowed things down a little bit.
But unlike those shows we mentioned earlier, I don't like to talk about that. We get to
don't
put
get me
this
started.
No, I will not. But we get to put this one in the win column forever, man. And I remember
win for everybody.
A couple of years ago when Marvelous Miss Maisel ended, and Homeland, and a couple other shows where it's man, I've lived with this show for a really long time. Ted Lasso. I just can't wait, man. When I can smell that ending, I'm like, get there. Get us there, man. I want to be happy about this forever. I want to be able to talk about Stranger Things forever in a positive light. I want to turn new generations onto it, or friends that haven't watched it, and be like, no. Watch the whole thing. It ends well.
Stranger Things will always be recommendable. It'll always be a great show. It'll always be a cultural touchstone.
It will.
And I think Netflix did a great job putting all that money behind it.
And there's nothing else like it. So thank you, Stranger Things. Great show. Anybody watching this, let us know what you thought of it. How long did you watch Stranger Things for? And how'd you feel about the ending? Let us know what you thought.
Be fair, be honest.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Let us know what you thought in the comments. That's all I got, Vince. Stranger Things.
All right, hold on. Stranger Things.
It's Terminator 11. No, 11. All right, guys. See you on the next one.
All right. Bye, guys.